Say something intelligent, John. Stop your crying.
So what you doing here, Lucas? Let's tell everybody at home what we got cooking.
So this is
First off, what motor is this for?
This is for John's 1968 Coronet RT.
Yeah.
That hasn't ran since.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, I'm out in them right now. He took it apart in 2004, and it hasn't ran since.
What year were you born?
2004.
Oh my God.
So
What does that say?
What does that say? That you're. I don't know.
That's pretty bad.
Well, I mean, John still had race cars after that, but just not the race car.
You know, the next time you need a custom one-off made hoodie, and I know Madison didn't know, but I got a guy.
We got a guy too.
We got a guy, Tony Ross.
Tony Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's Hot Rod Garage.
Yeah, I actually was just on his website the other day.
Gunslinger. That is such a nice tool. How does that work?
Works great. Yeah, no, I like it. It makes the piston ring go the same spot every single time.
Uh-huh.
So,
And it puts it square in the bore?
yeah, puts it super square so you get an accurate measurement.
Uh-huh.
Pretty cool tool.
Who gave that to us?
Jeff at 2-Hack.
And what are we shooting for again?
26.
26. Why so loose?
Because
It's going to be boosted.
it's going to be boosted.
I'm going to have a blown Hemi.
You are going to have a blown Hemi.
A blown injected Hemi
Well, yeah.
on E85.
It's a Gen 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we haven't talked about it. But are you going to run an intercooler or not?
If I run the E85, I don't need an intercooler. But if I run gas, then I will. And I'm not sure how much of a pain in the rear that's going to be.
Plumbing for an intercooler?
Well, not only that, when you plumb for an intercooler, I don't have a problem with that, but then you lose a little bit of boost.
Barely.
What do you mean barely? No, I thought it was a couple pounds.
Probably, but I mean,
You can always change the pulley.
you can always change the pulley. Is Frostbite running an intercooler?
Frostbite's got everything. Not only does he have an intercooler, he's got water meth injection. I don't think he has an intercooler. But, I mean, he's got a 5.7 with shit, I don't know, 100,000 miles on the damn thing. You know? And now, a Torque Storm makes a bigger diameter blower. So now he's making frickin' almost 20 pounds of boost on that thing. And the truck ran 10.0 something, 10.08 in a 4,000 pound brick.
That's
pretty impressive. I mean, you put that in race car weight, which is usually 3,200 pounds or somewhere around there. That car would be it would dip in the mid low nines. What's up, Billy Baru?
What's up?
Say hi to all your fans.
Hello, my fans.
Did your TikTok explode after you made your debut at the CRT
no,
channel?
it's-
No,
not the same.
It's
I don't do TikTok, so
I don't do a whole lot on there, but
what's Billy Baru doing today?
We fixed an exhaust on John's truck.
On a brand new fucking truck,
Yeah.
I had to fix a broken bolt.
Well, it
When I
came
say
loose,
I
and
mean
then,
you.
You know, it was able to get water in between there and
Yeah.
got it out. We just wrapped up
The
the
transmission.
for Mr. Haney
For-
to be sent out.
Oh, the diff. Okay.
Yeah. And then the transmission.
The transmission's
All
for
wrapped up.
Billy Hupke.
Playing with some valve bodies. Getting ready to clean some vehicles.
Some dirty trucks.
Yeah, get some salt off.
So
there.
both of those are wrapped?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all right.
You can just leave him on the forklift. He's going to be here at 6 o'clock today.
Yeah,
So, what do you want to put my tool back?
yeah,
It's about time, you
Yeah.
prick.
you know.
Leaving my
I
shit
didn't
laying
want to
all
lose
around.
it, and then keep laying for it.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start washing the trucks.
Okay.
Clean my hands and get all the greasy grease off. And then
All right. Ooh, what do we have here? Top secret E4OD stuff. Hey, the camera's actually working good for once. It's not going total blur on me like it does all the time. Well, it is 3:18. That is actually the time. It's 3:18 on a Friday. You think we can get all these cylinders done, or we're gonna have to continue this next week? Are you cutting both sides at the same time?
You can't cut both sides at the same
Yeah,
time.
you squeeze the.
Nah,
Okay,
nah. Not easier to just do one.
that's
I
fine.
could do both, but
Does that leave a Sharpie edge on the end of the?
no, it's pretty good at
Okay.
not doing that.
All right. What the plans are for the Coronet. That's a 6.4 motor. And remember when I first built, or when I first put together the Hemi and Mr. Haney, I had that big, huge, gnarly cam in there. We couldn't get it tuned right. Well, it ends up, it was not the cam, it was the tune. The knucklehead in Chicago who tuned it for me put a 4,000 RPM rev limiter in there, and I couldn't get it. And I couldn't understand why, so I took the intake off. That wasn't it. I took the cam off and basically put the motor back to stock, and it was still doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, I know it wasn't all that. So that cam sounded frickin' awesome. It had a lump to it you can't get on Gen 3 Hemis. It sounded like a 440 lump. So I'm going to take this motor. We're going to get a B-body pan for it. I don't know if it's going to be one with the tie tube or not. I don't think I have to. It's going to be set in there. I bought a set of actual motor mounts instead of a motor plate. I've always ran motor plates in the Coronet with my 440s. But with this blower and the alternator and all that other stuff, I'm afraid if I use a motor plate, that's going to put everything out forward, and I didn't want to be aligning anything or having depth issues with the blower and the brackets and everything. So I thought, well, you know what? It's going to be better off if I just have mounts. So I got these solid mounts that are going to bolt. They're not going to bolt. They're going to bolt to the block, but then they're going to be welded in place. And then it's just going to go in the stock location, but 2 inches back. Well, there's really not a stock location for a 68 Coronet because Gen 3 Hemis didn't come in that car. But it's going to be there, but 2 inches or so back.
They're badass mounts.
They are. I mean, we just got to weld them in place, and then once they're welded in place, that's got a little bit of a pivot point that bolt to the block. So we're gonna, as soon as this short block is done, we put the rings in there, gap them for a blower motor. We're gonna just put the heads on, just with a bolt or two, and we're gonna drop the motor in there. We're gonna put that tunnel ram, howling ram that I got on there in there. We're gonna take the blower out of the box. How long have I had that blower now? I don't know. I got it from
Probably
Torque Storm for Hemi, and then I decided not to do this to Hemi because Hemi doesn't have no cage or nothing, where the Coronet's got a complete 12-point cage. So it's going to be at E85. It's going to have that blower on it. I don't know how much boost I'm going to make on that. Maybe 11 or 12 PSI, I think. It's going to have a 46RE or H. I don't care which one it is. And they can make a difference once I put my valve in it with the trans brake. And then, what else? Anything else? I got the headers for it already. I just got to get an oil pan. I'm going to put that gnarly cam in there. Put a tune in it and see what it does. But once we get it mocked up, once we put that block in there, the whole front end is completely off of the car. I want to actually paint the engine compartment, and I guess I have to pick a color red or paint it the same color red. I haven't figured that out yet. And then get the Coronet engine compartment painted, and I'll probably drive it the first year with the paint job from 1991. I'll probably do that. We're gonna watch Lucas put this piston in.
It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
There goes Rod Cat. That's why I took them off.
Like a glove. All right. So yeah, it's going to be like a street race car. I would really like it to have to run 10 flat. So I can give Frostbite a run for his money. Which I shouldn't have a problem, because the last time I weighed that car with the big block in it,
Like 28?
it was, no, I wish, it was 3310.
It's 3310.
Yeah, that was with a big block with aluminum heads, no filled block, one seat, and aluminum dash. My car's going to be a little bit heavier now because I took that aluminum dash out and I put a stock dash in it. I'm taking the racing seat out and putting those regular bucket seats from Gary Ball. The ones I had a set. Actually, there's a set in Hemi. I took those white seats that were supposed to be for the Coronet, and I put them in Mr. Hemi. So, oh, look at that, how he does that. That's kind of neat. You just slide it around on there.
Yeah. Just makes it so much easier.
Uh-huh. You know, these rod bolts got a funky torque to them.
I do not. What are they? It's like
They're torque
to a torque spec than 90.
They're torque. What do they call that officially? Torque to yield or something, I think. Or does it yield the torque? I don't know. But yeah, there is some kind of a weirdo.
It's like you have to torque it to a certain inch pound, then go a certain degree.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fractured rods. Every fractured rod motor I've ever worked on, it's always like certain inch pound or foot pound, and then go 90 or it says 180.
Yeah, I don't know what the spec is, but we'll get that once we get all the rings in. Well, heck, next weekend we can actually stick it in the Coronet.
Yeah, what do you have to do to the heads?
Well, I need head gaskets.
You have head gaskets.
I do?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well then I need to put them on and torque them down.
There you go.
I don't have to do nothing to them. I'm going to leave them stock. The motor's stock. The only reason why I'm doing this to the rings is to...
So you don't break it?
Well, 6.4s are real picky when it comes to making a blower motor, because the ring is so close to the top of the piston. I ain't no motor expert, so don't take what I say as gold. I'm not even nowhere near being an expert on motors.
Neither am I. I don't know nothing.
I know enough to be dangerous.
Oh, same here.
And that's about it. I do know that these motors are badass. I sold every one of my 440 big blocks. Even the transmission, they're all gone. I sold all that stuff. The converters, the shields. I'm definitely a Gen 3 Hemi guy.
Gen 3 Hemi overdrive guy.
Overdrive guy, yep.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Never had a doubt.
Little fun fact about the Coronet. I bought it in 1988, and it was running and we got married in 1990, and it was still brown, and it had a primered fender, and it was louder than super loud. And I'm like, hey Elaine, if I clean the interior out and put like a white blanket on the seat or whatever, could we take the Coronet in to get married in? And she was totally against it. That just did not go. And I thought to myself, you know what? It would be my luck that something broke on the way to the church and I'm stranded on the side of the road. I mean, this was before cell phones. You get stranded, you walk to a gas station, and you get on a payphone. You know? So I didn't get to take the Coronet into the wedding. I took my 1983 Chrysler Cordoba. And then I parked it out front. Everybody's like, You're driving? Who are you going to get to drive? I'm like, no, dude, I'm driving, because my mom and dad drove in there. My dad had a Cadillac, a 58 Cadillac Eldorado that they got married in. And I got pictures of them, you know, in together in the front seat. Not only that, you ever tried to get back of a 1983 Cordoba? No. That's like getting the back of a Pinto. There is no room in the back seat.
I've never been in either, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I had a Pinto too, so I know.
Yeah, I know. From whoever first car things.
Right. So I couldn't take it, but I've had the car longer than I've had the girl. But not really, because we started dating in 84. Even though I knew her in high school, we didn't start dating till 84. And I didn't buy the car till 1988. And the only reason why I bought the Coronet is because my favorite car in the whole world, my 71 Sport Fury, 440, 727 reverse manual valve body with slicks tucked underneath the fender skirts, caught fire. I was racing Ray Piscaro in his street racing down River Oaks Drive, and the battery was overcharging and the amp gauge was pegged. I'm like, I gotta go home. So I went home and I parked the car. And we were just fucking around on the street. We weren't actually street racing. We are no street outlaws, but we were just goofing around on the street. And the amp gauge was frickin' pegged. The lights were super bright. The dash lights were super bright. And those always had issues with that amp gauge. So I took the car home, and I was only maybe less than a half a mile from home. And I'm like, well, I'm going to check and see what's going on. And I popped the hood, and the battery was bulged. And I'm like, shit, I never seen that before. So I took a screwdriver, and I just, back then you can pop the lid off the tops. And I let the pressure out, and it seemed like, I'm like, well, it'll go down. I walked around the car, I looked inside, everything seemed okay. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, I sat down at the kitchen table, and I looked at the Fury outside, and all the windows were pitch black, like you tinted them black. I'm like, who the hell is effing with my car? So I get up, I go outside, and I look, and the windows are black. You can't see them. I unlock the door, I open it up, and the whole interior is totally fried. And all this smoke billowed out. Well, what happened, the dash caught fire, because that's where the gauge is, and it cracked the windshield, and it suffocated itself. The fire was put out because there was no oxygen. Well, the car was totaled. I mean, it really wasn't. I actually found another 71 Fury, a regular Fury, that had the same color brown interior and the same paisley. And I was going to take everything out of the burnt Fury and put it in there and then repaint the car. Well, the first thing I tried to do is take the windshield out of the brown Fury, and it broke. And I said, fuck it. I'm not going to do that. And I must have walked around in a bad mood for a couple of weeks, and then I decided to get the Auto Trader out. And I found a 68 Coronet in Lowell, Indiana, of all places.
It was in Lowell?
On Route 2 at a farm.
Farm still there?
I don't remember where I was at. But it was on Route 2. And I think it was just on this side of 65. On the west side of 65. I went there to go look at it. And I went there with Taco. He's dead now. And I'm looking at this thing, and it's tan in color. It's all flat. There's no steering wheel on it, and there's no carburetor. It was a 383 automatic car. And I'm like, I just can't see this as a hot rod. I couldn't see it, you know? I just tried to imagine big tires, hood scoop or something. It wasn't clicking with me. I'm like, no. So I didn't buy the car. We left. And it was only $550. And it was clean. It had one small little rust spot on each quarter panel and two kind of banged up fenders a little bit, but the car was rock solid. The trunk was rusty though, because the weather stripping. But other than that, the floors, the small two little spots in the quarter, it really was a rock solid car. So back then there was no internet. Was there internet 1990?
Probably dial.
Oh no, wait a minute. This was 1988. If there was internet, I didn't have it. I don't know what I did. Did I get some magazines out that I had? And I flipped through them at that time, looking for 68 or 69 Coronets. Well, I found one that looked badass. I'm like, okay, I got a vision in my head. So I called the people up a couple days later. I says, hey, I want that car. No problem. Well, the only day off I had was Thanksgiving. So I said, we're going to go down there. I'm going to pay for the car. Then I'll send a tow truck because it doesn't run. So I said, can I go down there at Thanksgiving? They said, no problem. Me and Taco again went down there, and we looked at the car again. We went back in. I didn't haggle with nothing. I gave them the $550, and they were just finishing having their dessert for Thanksgiving. And they're like, are you boys hungry? And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. So these people fed us Don't know us from Adam. Thanksgiving dinner. We didn't eat a lot. We had a little turkey, little stuffing, and then some pumpkin pie. I will never forget that. Those people were totally cool. So, on the weekend, because I worked every day, the weekend comes, guess who gets the car? Me and Johnny Blair from Blair Sitco on the corner of Burnham and Pulaski. They've always been friends of the family. So me and Johnny, we go down and we get the car. And did I tow it to the shop? Yeah, I towed it to the shop. And I put a carburetor on it that ran 3-3. Automatic car with the center console. So that's how I got the Coronet.
Good story.
Yeah, not bad. I still got the receipt for it. The guy gave me a handwritten receipt. So I got to turn the camera back on. What were you saying?
Oh, I said, I don't know, racing just consumes me.
Yeah, well, you're 19.
Yeah, I know.
It did for me, too. Well, I didn't race when I was 19. You know why? I was one broke-ass motherfucker. I was broke. I didn't have a pot to piss in. I did not race
23.
till I was about 25 or 26 before I went down the drag strip. And it was in the Coronet. Was the
I was in the Fury.
No. I took the Fury to the Grove. We went down there on a Wednesday, and it was closed. We drove back and did not race. So the first pass I made was at, and here, the second time I went to the drag strip was Mopar Nationals. I go with Cadillac Chris. We get there, and the remains puking.
I remember that.
It's puking.
Yeah, like the 440 did in your...
Exactly. Well, that's because the seal was put in backwards. But this, we worked on the car all weekend, all the way to the back. So we drove all the way to Ohio. And when Chris, I made the bad mistake of leaving Chicago. And then he goes, let's take the turnpike. Well, that's going all the way up by the lakes. Then coming back down to Ohio. No wonder it took us 9 frickin' hours to get to National Trail Raceway. But they call it the trail. So it took us 9 hours to get there. So I come back, and the very first time I went down the track, literally, not just being at the track, got in the car, made a pass, was at Osceola, Indiana. And it was in the Coronet.
Where's Osceola?
Osceola, Indiana is kind of by South Bend. And that track just closed a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah. It was a backyard hill jack track, without a doubt. When I first went there was no guardrails. They had a piece of shit Christmas tree. It was an old airport, because when you went into the concession stands, they were big on selling Coney dogs. They still had all the airplane motors and the parachutes and everything in there. So it was an old airport.
So I raced at an old airbase.
So, well, we exceeded our half-hour suggested timeline on a video.
This is Lucas from CRT. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. And more power to you.